Hey everyone, so it's about a week before I have to fully load this thing up and get on the road and start with the camping weekend and then head up north. So I figured I'd provide a couple of updates, but mostly talk about the window coverings that I used and why I went in that direction and how I managed to keep them in place. So let me show you around. So for my window coverings, I went with two different materials. I used this thick felt that has a gray side and a black side as the material I'm going to put against the window. And the reason for that is it provides better blackout than, say, the Reflectix. And even though I have pretty dark tint, but it's not limo tint, this does show through the window, so you can actually see if you're standing up close that you've got this in the window and that someone's probably living in there. Which I'm not too worried about when I'm out at like campsites or free sites or anything like that. But when I'm in a Walmart parking lot possibly, or a rest area where you're limited to the amount of time you're supposed to be there, I kind of want to be looking like maybe I'm just there to take a break and not necessarily sleeping in the back. So this goes on first, this goes on second. The issue that I was dealing with was how to keep them both up, but I figured out that if I cut this to the right dimensions, this would actually tuck around the molding and stay up on its own. The problem that I had was keeping this then attached to it. So I took care of that in different manners around my vehicle. In the back here, and these are going to stay in permanent, it did happen to all stay up in place for the most part, but what I ended up doing was using this tension rod, and just the one keeps everything in place, so that worked out really well. But for the back here, I needed to install these elastic bands across the top, and these basically just keep it in place. The molding around the back window has a nice gap, so the black felt as well as the Reflectix actually sits pretty well in there. So this just keeps it more in place when I have the hatch open, and not necessarily to keep it in place when I'm driving. But these do come in handy anyway, because it's gonna just make it so that I don't have to take it in and out the days that I don't want to drive around, and I don't need to look out my back window, which isn't an absolute necessity, but it is nice to see the couple of square inches that I actually can with my tire mounted back there. But what I decided to do, rather than just use screws, is I used these snaps. And these snaps I made multi-purpose, because now what I can do is when I have, I don't know, a bag with like plastic forks or something in it, or anything that I want to keep when I'm sitting out, in the vehicle, I can just snap things into place. Here is a headlamp. I just put a snap on that, and I can just do that. And then also here is a solar light, and I put a snap into the handle there, and I can just snap that up like that. So as long as I don't remember or forget to take those things down before I close the hatch and not smash things, it should come in pretty useful, I would think. And I've got 3 on that side as well. But it was just a way to think of a better solution rather than just using screws. That way it serves 2 purposes, to hang things and also to hold up those rubber straps. And then on this window here, these do stay up on their own by tucking around the edge. But for all of the window coverings, what I plan on doing to keep them together is installing these snaps. Now I know that people have used like Velcro, but to try to sew this type of material is not the easiest, as well as I'm not very good at sewing. But the adhesive back Velcro, my concern was that in the hot summer heat, especially out west, that if I tried to separate these 2 pieces, that the Velcro would just come off the backing, and then I'd be stuck with something that doesn't work. So I installed snaps instead, and these snaps work great. So I have one end here and one end here, and in order for it not to pull through the Reflectix, which is just like thin aluminum and plastic, I on both sides of the snap, put in this thin felt, and that way it won't pull through and everything just snaps into place and unsnaps really easily. So I can put up just the Reflectix or just the black felt, and that works out really well for me. So I'm going to do that as well for this large piece, and it'll make it a lot easier for handling because I will be sticking all that underneath my bed here, and just to handle I don't know, 3 pieces of window covering rather than 6 and having them slide all over the place, I think it's just a better idea. And then on this one, I had to modify it for the fan. I'm actually going to have to do it for that one over there as well because I have bigger fans that go in that window. These here I use for exhaust in the winter, and so I have them blowing out. But I have to fold down the material when I have the fans installed. But what I did so that when they are all the way up in place and the fans aren't there, I cut offset cuts into the felt in the Reflectix. That way when this is up and you've got your cut line here, I installed another cut line here on a couple of inches over, because that way it's less likely to let light through. If I had them both cut in the same place, you might be able to see light through them. So, and then for this particular section, I just installed an extra snap that would keep these 2 pieces up in place. But that's right now just held up on its own. I don't need to put anything up there to keep that in place because I cut it in a manner that it would just sit around and snugly in the edges of the window. So that's pretty much it for the Reflectix and what I ended up doing. In the winter, I will keep both pieces, and then in the summer I'll probably just keep up the Reflectix mostly, so that I don't have so much heat inside the vehicle. I'll have to kind of play with that as I go and see what works out best, but that's my solution for now. So in addition to that, some other things that I'm working on is this table, which let me show you how that operates. So for this table, I know in another video I talked about cutting this down. I just made this out of laminate board, but I really like the size of it, and I'm going to try to just deal with it. Worst case scenario, if I have trouble dealing with the length of it inside the cab while I'm sleeping in it, then I'm going to be bringing a Sawzall with me, and I'll just hack it off so that it's easier to store under my bed. But until then, I'm going to try to make it work. Some people had given me some ideas about maybe putting it on hinges or something like that, and I'm kind of running out of time, so I just went with the simple solution to keep it as one piece. And let me show you how it operates. Well, operates, or just how I have it set up. So what I did is I drilled a hole here and 3 holes across the top. The one thing I like about this table is I can slip under the back here, and it'll stay on its own until I want to install the legs. But these tent poles that I bought, and I have a bunch of them, so since I have 6 of them, I can easily use 1 or 2 on this table during my time when I have my entire setup going. But I can either put it here in the middle, and then I can even stretch the cap around so that it doesn't fall out of place if it gets kicked. But with just that one leg, if I'm not going to do a whole lot, I can actually just keep it like this. And this is a 14-pound ammo box, and it barely moves. So just like that, it is fine completely on its own. If I want it to be a bit more stable, then I just take the strap off the back, just kind of wind it up and tuck it underneath the lip here, and that actually keeps this part of the table from moving from side to side. And if I want to, I can stick a leg here and here. I can easily take another one and also put it there, and that way if there's 2 legs on each corner, that'll even make it more stable. And then if I want to, and for whatever reason I'm going to put something really heavy on it, I can actually put it in the middle here so that this actually could probably take a good, I would say, 30+ pounds without causing any damage to it with that pole there. So I've got options. I like the fact that it's so large to use, and I think it's going to come in a lot more handy being in this configuration. This is another thing it's going to be trial and error. I'll figure it out as I go, and just kind of modify things as they work for me. Some of the other things that I have going on, I have this tire in the back here. I had new tires coming in. I only ordered 3 because I was going to use my new spare as the 4th. 3 tires came in, black wall out, and this one has the letters out. So I was hoping to have all the letters out, but it's easier to change 1 tire than 3. So I need to take that to a tire place and have that turned around and balanced for me. In addition to that, I finally got new inner tubes for the bike, which I have decided I'm definitely bringing. So I got to put those in. If that doesn't work out, I'll just give it away to someone while I'm out there. And then that gas can needs to be stripped and repainted. And then here's a lot of my gear that I've been messing around with and trying to figure out how I'm going to get these 3 boxes up top along with a couple of plastic gas cans. And then I did have my tracks here mounted, so I'm starting to get all that organized so that I know what I need to do a week from now when I start loading this thing up. Other than that, there's a lot of little things here and there. I still got to do a curtain inside the Jeep. I have a bunch of ideas. I think I'm probably just going to end up going with whatever I have here in the garage and try not to spend any more money. Seems to be happening a lot lately with things that I keep thinking that I need and forgetting. So anyway, with that, feel free to leave your comments below. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.